So you want to buy one of Lian Li's new Hydroshift AiOs, but it comes in 3 different versions. What sets them apart from other AiOs? What's the difference between the 3 versions? And which Hydroshift AiO is right for your build? Well, we're going to talk about all that right here, right now on Robeytech. Thanks to Lian Li, we have all 3 versions of the new Hydroshift AiOs here in the Robeytech studios today. And Lian Li is so excited about this product that they have sponsored this video as an overview of the whole Hydroshift lineup. So we're going to talk about the similarities between these 3 AiOs, show you what makes them different from each other, and then share some performance data. And by the end of this video, if you are already looking at the Hydroshift as your next AiO and weren't quite sure which one to use, we're going to help you figure out which one could be right for you. Now, you probably heard me mention 3 different models, and you're probably looking at these like the spot the difference meme and yelling at your screen, "Robey, they're all the same." Well, in 2 respects, these AiOs do share features that are pretty big focal points: the hose routing and the LCD screens. So let's start with the hoses, and this is the part that really makes these AiOs unique. The Hydroshift AiOs offer a solution to a problem we didn't know we had: hose management. It's like a whole new level in Robeytech streams. He hose manages for over, well, 12 seconds. Now, you've probably bundled your hoses together with like Velcro ties or those little clips, but I guarantee you've never done it like this. Lian Li is using retention brackets on the side of the radiator and clips to keep the hoses in place. What's even better is that these brackets can be oriented on either side of the radiator to better fit your PC case's needs. When you combine these brackets and clips with the Hydroshift's removable shroud, it makes sure that your hoses are as hidden as possible. And as an added touch of style, Lian Li added a brushed aluminum plate that can go on the opposite side of the clips to make sure your AiO radiator looks as stunning as possible. Now, the next similarity between these AiOs is the display on the pump head. These displays measure 2.88 inches, have a resolution of 480 by 480, and a max brightness of 500 nits. Displays like these are great if you want a snapshot of your system's performance, but they're also amazing if you want to customize it to the theme of your PC or loop your favorite animated GIFs and video clips. Or GIFs, if you're sick. All of this controller and customization is done through Lian Li's L-Connect 3 software, which also has another cool killer feature. You can use the L-Connect 3 software to capture the content you want for you to display on your Hydroshift. So those are the basic similarities. When you break it down, these 3 Hydroshift models are like genetic twins. They're alike, but they're not identical. Now that we know what's the same, let's get into what sets them apart, starting with the stealthy and silent member of the Hydroshift family, the Hydroshift 360S. This version has an MSRP of $179.99, and like the other models, it's available in either black or white for the same price. Now, just because the 360S has an entry-level price doesn't mean it's an entry-level AiO. It's equipped with the performance-focused fans inspired by Lian Li's Unifan P28Ss. The 360S has a focus on function while maintaining the aesthetic of the rest of the series. The fans on the 360S have a maximum speed of 2,500 RPM, an airflow rating of 73.14 CFM, and an air pressure rating of 5.0 mmH2O. And all of this airflow is happening at a decibel level of 29.8 decibels, which is slightly less than whisper quiet. Now, another distinguishing factor here, the 368 has a 27mm radiator, which is pretty standard across modern AiOs, but it's slightly thinner than the other Hydroshift family. More on that in just a minute. As for the pump, the Hydroshift 360S features a custom pump that was inspired by Lian Li's Galahad 2 Trinity Performance AiO. But Lian Li didn't just take the pump and move it over to a new model. They took time to improve on the design by optimizing coolant pathways, changing the impeller size, and adjusting the pump speed. Doesn't that sound so scientific? Yeah. You may have noticed the 360S does not have any RGB, which you may love or just may make you sad. But don't get too sad, because Lian Li offers a Unifan P28 ARGB side lighting kit that will also work with the 360S fans. Or you could move to the Hydroshift 360R. This is the RGB bedazzled version of the Hydroshift family, and it's available for $199.99. Starting with the fans, these things are tricked out with RGB that spills out from the fan center all the way out to the translucent strips on the side. As for performance, the 360R's fans have a maximum speed of 2,400 RPM. They push 79.9 CFM at an air pressure of 3.26 mmH2O with an operating noise level of around 30 decibels. So they're not as quiet as the performance performance fans of the 360S, but they get the job done while looking stylish and without being too distracting. Now moving on to the pump, the Hydroshift 360R also features a custom pump inspired by the Lian Li Galahad 2 Trinity Performance AiO, but this one is tuned a bit differently than the one on the 360S. While the 360S runs at a higher speed with a reduced noise level, the pump on the 360R runs at a slightly slower speed, gaining some performance but elevating noise levels ever so slightly. Now another difference here is that the 360R has a slightly thicker radiator, measuring 31 millimeters thick. This beefier rad provides an increased surface area, which allows the heat carried by the internal fluid to dissipate quicker. More science speak. At the end of the day, the 360R rides a line between performance and aesthetic while leaning a bit more on the side of looks. Now, if you want performance, style, and the added bonus of a unified fan system, the Hydroshift 360 TL pulls out all the stops for a retail price of $259.99. While the 360 TL shares the same pump design and radiator thickness as the 360R, it really glams things up with the TL fans. These fans have RGB tracing their outlines, they have infinity mirrors, and they use Lian Li's Unifan interlocking system to make cable management a breeze. And breezy is the name of the game with these fans too. With a max speed of 2600 RPM, which is actually the highest of the bunch, the Unifan TLs push 90.1 CFM at an air pressure of 3.97 mmH2O. These are also the loudest of the Hydroshift fans at 33 decibels, but it still falls into the whisper quiet range, just like other Hydroshift fans. Okay, now that we know what sets these AiOs apart, let's look at the performance data from the Hydroshift AiOs. We tested all three AiOs in nearly identical Intel and AMD systems to give you an idea of performance across the board. Starting off on the Intel side, the CPU idle on all three Hydroshift models hovered around 32 degrees Celsius. The 360 TL was on the cooler side of 32, followed by the 360S and then the 360R. Under full CPU load, there was a bit more differentiation. The TL and S both averaged 70 degrees Celsius, but the TL averaged on the cooler side of 70 than the S. As for the 360R, it averaged 75 degrees Celsius in the test. And in our 1440p gaming benchmarks, the 360S led the pack with the CPU temperature average of 46 degrees Celsius, followed by the 360 TL at 47 and the 360R at 49. Now moving on to AMD at CPU idle, the 360R and 360 TL averaged 41 degrees Celsius, but this time it was the R that was on the cooler side of things. The 360S wasn't far behind at 42 degrees Celsius. Under full CPU load, the 360S flipped the script. It held average temperatures of 84 degrees Celsius, followed by the 360 TL at 85 and the 360R at 86. Finally, in our 1440p gaming benchmarks, the 360S and R both averaged 57 degrees Celsius, but it was ultimately the S that ended up being just a little bit cooler than the R. The 360 TL wasn't far behind at 58 degrees. All of this should give a better picture of the Hydroshift AiO. So let's say all of this sounds awesome to you, but you're having a hard time figuring out which Hydroshift is gonna be best for you. Well, here's how we see things when we look across the landscape. If you're a minimalist and your priority is performance without distraction, the Hydroshift 360S is going to be the AiO for you. Its slimmer radiator and performance-focused fans will do the job of keeping your CPU nice and cool while keeping visible hoses there at a minimum. If you're all about the RGB life and need all the glorious lighting you can get, the Hydroshift 360R has just about all of the RGB you could want. With an increased radiator size and more performant pump, the 360R does bring some features to improve performance, but not at the expense of aesthetics. Now, if you're chasing the all-out, show-stopping Lian Li build that's kitted out with even more TL or TL LCD fans, the Hydroshift 360 TL is going to be the AiO for you. With the 360 TL's hub, you can mix and match Lian Li's Unifan TLs and TL LCD fans for your perfect setup. Not only that, the Hydroshift 360 TL leans a little bit more on performance while making sure you still got a good tasteful touch of RGB in the mix. So there you have it. That's the whole lineup of the Hydroshift 360 AiOs from Lian Li. Whether you're building a sleek and stealthy PC or one that's just exploding with colors, we're not sure there's any other AiO that offers a solution for wrangling AiO hoses quite like the Hydroshift. As we wrap things up, we want to give another huge shout out to Lian Li for sponsoring this video and letting us check out the entire line of Hydroshift AiOs. But we want to know what you think. Let us know down in the comments below. Do you like the hidden stuff? Do you like the different models? Did this video make it clear? Let us know all that and more down in the comments below. Now, while you're down there, make sure you go ahead and slap that subscribe button with that like button and ring that notification bell so that you get a notification each and every time we post a video like this right here on Robeytech. Also, If you have questions about these AiOs, you want to continue the discussion, head over to our Discord server, discord.gg/Robeytech. Amazing place to talk to other tech and PC enthusiasts who love to have these conversations. You know what? You might just make a friend. Also, make sure you follow us at Robeytech absolutely everywhere. Thank you so much for watching this video. We look forward to seeing you on the next one.